Okay, what is CLASSE?
CLASSE, as an acronym, it means Coalition Large de l'Association pour une Solidarité Syndicale étudiante. So it's basically a coalition of student unions that's built for the student strike. So its sole purpose is to reunite as many student unions as possible in order to have the most leverage and get access to a negotiating table.
Okay, how big is CLASSE right now?
CLASSE represents about 100,000 members across Quebec, which is about 1/4 of all students here in Quebec.
Okay. How many students are currently striking?
About 150,000 students right now. Now, the term has been suspended for those who are still on strike. So technically, the strike is no longer enforced because classes are cancelled by a governmental decree. But yeah, about 150,000 students.
Okay, so CLASSE is on strike right now. Why are they on strike?
We're on strike in reaction to a tuition increase of about 75%. And in numbers, right now, a Quebec student enrolled in university will pay about $2,000 per year. And with the tuition increase, that amount will be increased to almost 4,000. So it's a drastic increase. And historically, we've fought these increases and any other attacks on education by going on a general strike of all students. This is our 9th general strike over the last 40 years. And historically, they've been very effective.
Okay, what is CLASSE's ultimate goal?
Well, CLASSE is built around this other organization, which is a permanent organization called Association pour une Solidarité Syndicale Étudiante. And we have a lot of demands and a particular analysis of our education system. And ultimately, we're fighting for a free education. Now, that means not only free to students, so free of tuition fees, but also free of corporate influence. And this is our ultimate goal. However, the Strike Time Coalition was built around the issue of the increase. So our demand on the negotiating table is a tuition freeze at 2007 levels.
Okay, do you think you will achieve that?
Well, we're hoping we will. We will. The strike has lasted for about 4 months now. It's the longest strike that's ever happened in Quebec. And so far, the offers on the negotiating table or outside of it are very disappointing. But the students themselves are increasingly becoming more radical because of this refusal from governments to act responsibly and to offer us a tuition freeze, which is our demand and demands of the individual student unions that are currently on strike. And so, as a result, we've built a social movement of an importance and of a scale that we could never have hoped for. And we have massive demonstrations every month, regrouping. I mean, every single one of these demonstrations are topping the earlier one and are becoming the largest demonstrations in the history of Canada. The strike has an awful effect on the Quebec economy. This is why it's so effective. Now, striking for Quebec students is similar to a labor strike. So we form picket lines in front of our schools, picket lines that people cannot cross. And as a result, all classes are cancelled for a sustained amount of time. And the government has no interest in cancelling a term because that would mean it would have to accommodate both new students and current students within one term. And that's something the government will always want to avoid because it would cost so much that the hike wouldn't be enough to compensate for those economic effects. And the strike also allows us to use all kinds of means of pressure, direct action. We've done a lot of of direct action so far. Banks have been blocked, bridges have been blocked as well, and the effects of daily demonstrations that, like we've seen the last few weeks, are incredibly damaging too. We don't expect the government to willingly negotiate because of public opinion. We expect it to negotiate because we have strong economic effects that they cannot take in anymore.
Okay. What is your position in class?
I'm currently a member of a committee called Maintaining and Enlarging the Strike, so we mostly coordinate mobilization. But yesterday I was elected to an exec position, so I'll be assuming my functions from the 16th of June.
What position is that?
Finance.
In the spectrum between tax-funded education and tuition-funded education, where do you stand?
I think education should be fully tax-funded from kindergarten to a master's or a doctorate degree. I think education benefits society as a whole. An educated society is a society that will pay more in tax anyway. So they'll every diplomee will reimburse their education costs sooner or later, and we aim for education to be as accessible as possible so that as many people have access to university and are able to enrich Quebec society as a whole by taking technical degrees or arts degrees or social sciences degrees. It doesn't matter. We need an education system that's fully taxpayer funded. We need an education system that's free of corporate influence, free of, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Anything else you want to say or say to Americans?
Well, America's tuition fees are incredibly high. They range from, I don't know, 5 times hours to 15 times hours, 50 times hours. And there's no reason for that. There is no reason for that. And I hope you realize that. I hope you organize against those high tuition fees that you're facing. Democracy is not only a game of elections, it's also participating in the political discourse every single day and organizing social movements and demonstrating. And this is what one has to do to defend progressive measures in this era of neoliberalism and austerity.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.